Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee, not chaga today. Oh, we're in Oklahoma City now. Big show tonight, the final finale. Tonight we will be at Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill. It is in Oklahoma City, 310 Johnny Bench Drive. Come check us out. The final show. The show in Austin the other night on Wednesday night was a blast. So much fun. We stayed up way too late. Awesome people showed up, as in every show. It's been just amazing. Freedom is spreading all throughout our country. No matter what they do to the prices, we know that they're rigging. We know it, and we have proven it time and time again. The United States has to change their ways, or we will go down as the worst country in human history. We need to get rid of our government, our politicians, and our monetary system. Then we'll be fine. How's that? Also, on Saturday, tomorrow night, the Litecoin Lisa event, a charity event. Unbelievable charity, the Mighty Mia charity. Come check us out. Let's see, go to litecoinlisa.net and you can get your tickets right there. Get Team Mighty tickets right there. And it is at, let's find out where it is. It is at the River Sport Adventures in Oklahoma City. She rented out this amazing room. It's like a wedding type room. We're going to have a stage there. I'll be singing. Jenny Moonstone's going to be there. Jenny will be there tonight, too, in Oklahoma City, along with Andy Scheckman. Amy and I got to ride with Andy Scheckman from Austin to Oklahoma City. We had a blast. He was going to take a flight, and I'm like, no way, jump in our RV. So we talked about amazing things, as you could imagine, about the silver market. So first of all, make sure you get your tickets for Saturday night, and tickets will be available at the door with cash tonight at the Toby Keith Bar in Oklahoma City. Come check us out. All right. So Andy Scheckman and Miles Franklin is sponsoring the Road to Freedom Roadshow again this time. I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart. Such an amazing company, and man, he's helped so many Road to members get their hands on the real thing, physical silver. If you want to get in touch with him, send an email to info at milesfranklin.com, or you can call him direct. Call Miles Franklin, 800-822-8080. That's 800-822-8080. And they'll let you know what they have in inventory. Amazing man, amazing person. He's doing some really big deals that are in the works, so get ready for some fireworks in silver. You know, one of the things we talked about on the road, I learned a lot, and then I talked to Andy about something that isn't talked about much. I learned a lot about, because Andy was saying, yes, the bail-in, the bank bail-in is on the books right now. So with the Dodd-Frank Act, the banks got to put in a bail-in, meaning that they can take deposits. Well, this is the thing. So here is what the bail-in is. Big takeaways. Big banks were deemed too big to fail following the financial crisis of 2007-2008, resulting in government bailouts at the expense of taxpayers. Financial reforms ushered in with Dodd-Frank eliminated bailouts, but opened the door for bail-ins. Bail-ins means the bank takes a portion of your money that you have on deposit with them. I know it sounds crazy. And I said, no way the American people would ever agree to that. Well, they're never going to agree to bail out the banks. So what will they agree to? The more I dive into bail-ins, I think it's probably going to be likely. But here's the deal. The vast majority of people still have that FDIC insurance. Even though the FDIC has no money and would have to go to Congress to get that money, the reality is it would only be the rich people that lost everything. Anybody with over $250,000, over the $250,000 FDIC limit. Now, it can get a little different. If you have over $250,000, use several banks. Now, I mean, I question, okay, what are these corporations going to do when instantly they lose like 50% of their working capital? So yeah, the whole bail-in, the concept of a global bail-in in the United States or around the world is pretty much moot, I think. But we'll find out. the little guy doesn't have to worry about that. The little guy has to worry about whether or not the FDIC will pony up, because the bail-in will not be below the FDIC amount, which is $250,000. So we're going to miss out on like all the ants getting together and say, hey, we're going to overthrow the grasshoppers, like on that movie Ants. But I can't see any way this works. Imagine Amazon losing 50% of all its working capital that they had in the banks, or GE, or you name it, any big corporation, Walmart. What would Walmart do if they lost 50% of their working cash that's in banks? Would it work? I doubt it. I truly doubt it. But we'll find out. I mean, it's on the books. Legally, they can't do a bailout, so they'd have to do a bail-in. And then I just think it would cascade from there into insanity, which it's gonna. I think it's gonna. I really do. So that's where we are on that. Silver, they tried to slam it again today. As you can see, bang, bang. The regulators are massively corrupt. Massively corrupt. I've said it a million times, the CFTC. One of the things we talked about, Andy and I talked about, was the Ted Butler's commitment of traders analysis, and other people's are looking at the commitment of traders report. They're judging the commercials versus the managed money. Managed money goes off, the moving averages and stuff like that. They continue to short. And Andy and I were talking about how could these managed money traders keep doing it over and over again, losing money, continually losing money. I think it's I've been saying this for over 10 years. They trade back and forth with each other. So you got BlackRock over here as managed money. You got JP Morgan over here. BlackRock could lose $1 billion in silver, but then to JP Morgan, and then in another commodity somewhere else, they make $1 billion or however much they make. So there's trade-offs, there's give and takes. They collude together to manage the price of gold and silver and all commodities. And there is proof of this in the quarterly derivative report. Look at these quarterly derivative reports. For example, here's JP Morgan in 2020. In the first quarter, they lost this massive amount of money. In the second quarter, they made a massive amount of money. And here's Bank of America. In the fourth quarter of 2020, they lost a massive amount of money, and then they made a amount. So it's all like, okay, we'll take this hit, and then you guys take this hit over there, and then you'll make money in zinc and copper, and we'll make money in, FX derivatives. And it's all being orchestrated by the Exchange Stabilization Fund out of the Fed and the New York Fed and the U.S. Treasury. The U.S. Treasury has a trading room in the basement of the U.S. Treasury building. It was amazing when I saw that. CNBC showed it one year, like years ago. They have a trading floor in the basement of the U.S. Treasury building, where they can rig it. And there's no limit on what they can do with derivatives. None. And then you have Goldman Sachs right here. Big loss and then big gain. It's just, it's pure fraud. And, a lot of people are showing this graph. And everybody's saying, oh my God, look at that. I want to remind everybody, this is just a change of moving the gold derivatives from the FX portion of this report to the precious metals. And what it accomplished, it hid what was going on in silver. It hid the deliveries the redelivery of JP Morgan's leases to Bank of America. Now, here's what's happening, I believe, with these leases. I was in leasing for most of my career as a banker. I structured back-end leases. You can do anything you want. You don't have to return the metal at the back end of any lease. You have to return anything. You can structure it any way you want. So silver leases are not necessarily JP Morgan leasing the silver to Bank of America and then Bank of America paying them back in silver, in physical silver. No. You can say at the back end of the deal, as a matter of fact, this is what they did because this is how they had to book it. At the back end of the deal, you have a purchase price, a fixed purchase price, so that at the end of that Bank of America will never have to give back those silver because it's a fixed purchase price. It's a monetary structured deal. Now, where that silver went, I think it went to Warren Buffett, but we'll get into that in a second. But the reality is, with that kind of fixed purchase price in leasing, the tax accounting for that transaction, a fixed purchase price on a fair market, it's not a fair market value lease, it's a fixed lease term, JP Morgan would have to book the gain at the beginning of the lease. And that's why we saw in the trial with the two J.P. Morgan traders, on the last day they exposed J.P. Morgan made between $20 and $30 million every year trading gold and silver. But in 2020, J.P. Morgan made over $1 billion in a single year, which is literally 33 times what they normally make. Even 50 times if you go by the 20, the low end of that. 50 times in 1 year. How could that possibly happen? It's very easy. If they leased all that silver, as Ted Butler has analyzed by the movement of the silver, to Bank of America, the moment they lease that silver, JP Morgan has to take the gain on the silver because it's a fixed back end, a fixed purchase price. It's more like a loan, and the value of the silver on JP Morgan's books had to be realized, so that's how they get the $1 billion gain. Oh, and by the way, it just offset the fine of $920 million that very same year in 2020. So this game, the good thing about this story is that JP Morgan will never get that silver back. It's gone somewhere. I believe it went to Warren Buffett. I haven't proven that yet, but I'd say 70 to 80% positive. I will prove it. Ultimately, he'll admit it in the end. But right now, the reason that this bar had to be changed, this whole graph had to be changed, is because Bank of America is closing down that derivative position. And now they can lump it in with gold, and you can't tell what the silver is at all because gold is such a massively bigger market than silver. That's why you see this. See, this is how these fraudsters work. They pretend they're playing by the rules, but they're really not. They're all colluding with each other. At the end of the day, on the COMEX, there is one entity that would need to be kind of the market-making, structured derivative coordinator. And that company is called Virtu Financial, run by a guy named Vinny Viola. Virtu Financial is actually, believe this, it's strictly a market maker with high speed and high frequency trading. They didn't lose any money for like 2,000 days or something crazy like that because they rig all markets for all the big guys. And it's coordinated through them. They are an authorized participant of SLV. Now, the authorized participants are the ones that put in the silver and take it out. Why would a high-frequency trading company be ones putting in silver into SLV and pulling it out? They don't. They coordinate and run the derivative book that controls the price of silver on the COMEX, on the stock market, you name it. That's the hub, and run by a guy named Vinny Viola, who was basically Bernie Madoff's counterpart in the 1990s. So Vinny Viola ran, I think it was the NYMEX, and Bernie Madoff ran the NASDAQ. And they were both like the heads of the board, the exchanges. They both quit at the same time to start their separate little rigging enterprises. Bernie Madoff split off, and we know what happened to that one. By the way, that wasn't $50 billion. It was $500 billion, and it was run out of, there was the Bernie Madoff office with like his family worked, and then the floor below, the next two floors, were computer rigging operations. It was a huge, gigantic, high-frequency trading, computing rigging operation they were taking down. Vinny Viola has not been taken down. Trump nominated him to be like the head of the army at some point, and everybody's like, what? This guy was part of that West Point scandal when they caught people cheating in the late 70s at West Point. You can't make this stuff up as you go along. So that's where we are. That's how they rig the prices. Yes, JP Morgan, it's not about the commercials and the counterparty. It's about taking profits here, losing money here, but managing the system so that JP Morgan's they're all going to make money, but they'll have certain areas where they lose it, and then it'll be given back in this different area. And that's how these technical traders can lose massive amounts of money. It doesn't matter to them because they make it up somewhere else as part of the game. Welcome to America. By the way, I think something's coming down the road for Theta. Because the Theta medium, I thought I had it, I think. The Theta medium the Theta announcements. There hasn't been an announcement from Theta in about a month, and that's like really rare for Theta not to have an announcement. So I think announcement's coming. I don't know what it is. Theta's been on a roll lately. It went down like below $1, and now it's at $1. If you bought below $1, you're up 60%. Hang on. Theta is going into the thousands. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. If we like the internet, we better love Theta. I know a lot of Roto-Rooter people are loading up again. They loaded up at 4 cents. Now they're loading up anything below $3. They're going to continue to load up, and it'll run again. I think this next run will probably take it to $30, maybe 50. But it will take the rest of the cryptos to run too. And if you look at Theta and how much has been staked in this whole crash down from $15, it went way too fast, too early, too fast, and then it crashed down. None of the, almost 0% of the staking in Theta on the Guardian nodes was sold off. So it's all rigging done on these crazy exchanges with derivatives, and they don't even use derivatives. The exchanges are so fraudulent, it's just fake trading. Get your Theta, get it in your own possession as soon as possible. Get your physical silver in your own possession. Contact Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin as soon as possible. And then if you want to buy cheap lottery tickets, Veritasium, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, it is just a perfect setup for the SEC to go back to Reggie Middleton and say, oh my, those 98 million Veritasium tokens that we have had frozen for a couple of years, we'd like to give you those back, and you to implement a peer-to-peer trading system so that the people like Vinny Viola won't be in charge of our markets anymore. If we want a free America, we have to have free markets, and you can't have free markets if you have people like J.P. Morgan and Citibank and Bank of America in their rigging markets every day. Reggie Middleton invented a way to have peer-to-peer transactions on exchanges. The patent was filed, and they busted him, and then they granted him the patent. So obviously something else is going on. Get yourself some Veritasium if you can. I know you can almost get it on Mercatox, and it's crazy what goes on in these exchanges. It's pretty much banned by everybody. There's a couple other swap places you can get it. So I can't tell you. It's risky. Mercatox is very risky. They run out of everything all the time, and it's not sanctioned by anybody. So if you can get your hands on some Veritasium, I highly recommend it. Again, Jenny will be with us today in Oklahoma City. Come out, and we are taking walk-ins. It's $25 at the door, and we're going to have a blast. We got Jenny. We got Andy Scheckman will be there, and we'll be talking all kinds of silver stuff. It's going to be a blast. Litecoin Lisa is going to be there. Can't wait to hang out. And Bitcoin Ben's coming into town. So we're going to have a full crew. It's going to be a blast. Come on by Toby Keith's. This is my bar and grill, right? It's called I Love This Bar and Grill. It's going to be a blast. Maybe Toby Keith will be there. I don't know. I'll get him up there and he'll sing Pay Me My Silver Now. We'll see. Anyway, you want to join the Road to Ruta, go to roadtoruta.com, hit subscribe. You get access to all this amazing information. Lots of interviews that I can't publish on YouTube because they'll block me out. And you also get a silver Road to Ruta Lives coin. Only way to get it is by getting a membership, or you can win one in some charity auctions that we do. But it's tough to get, so get yours while the price of silver is still hovering below $30, because when it blows by 30, it's over. I said cash. Amy just holds this thing. Don't forget to say cash at the door tonight. Yeah, we're not taking credit cards at the door. Cash or cryptos will be fine. Yeah, so get your Road to Ruta membership and then come visit us tonight, the last of the road show. And this is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. I'll talk to you later.